All right, good evening and welcome to our midweek Bible study. Typically, we're in the book of Isaiah, but tonight, as you can see, we have a special guest with us, J.B. from Japan, and we're going to just take the hour tonight, and she's going to share with us, really looking forward to what the Lord has for us. Now, next week, Lord willing, we're going to resume our study in the book of Isaiah. I don't know if you know this or not, but we finished chapter 16 in Isaiah last week. I know this is deeply profound, but you know what comes after 16? Do you know what's in Isaiah 17? Thank you. It's a prophecy about Damascus, Syria. And so that's next week, and not a moment too soon. Certainly, there's a lot going on right now in the Middle East with Israel and what's happening out of Gaza. We are, Lord willing, on Sunday morning going to be talking about that in the prophecy update, along with many other things. And there are many other things to talk about. So much is happening. But tonight, special night, special guest, and I would like to now introduce you to my friend, J.B. from Japan. Would you please give her a warm welcome? Before we get started, I wanted to, I hope it's okay with you, J.B., but you have J.D. and J.B. because of J.C. But no, for real, no, watch this. So ABCs, but this is BCD, and I'll explain why. So, as you know, JD is actually a legal AKA. It stands for Jesus Disciple. Well, I don't know how many months ago it was. JB sent me an email. She said, I'm going to change my name to JB for Jesus' bride. So that's the story behind that. So anyway, welcome, JB. Thank you so much for your willingness to be with us tonight. I do have a number of things I wanted to ask you about, and we're just going to begin with having you share with us a little bit about yourself, about your family, and you've brought with you some photos that we're going to have the guys show. They'll be on the screen, and we'll also put them online. If you want to just maybe start with this one and just tell us a little bit about it.
This is my father and mother and me, who was 90 years old. And I was born in a typical and traditional Japanese family. My father's side is a typical Japanese Shinto religious family, and my mother's side, it came from Buddhism. And this is additional for the benefit of my father. Why he holding the bear doll it is said in Japan, taking picture in tree is bad. Yeah, person in the middle will die earlier.
So
suddenly he took this bear, and we took this picture.
I was wondering about that. I wasn't sure. That's interesting. So like a superstitious thing.
Yes,
interesting. Wow.
Yeah. Next, please.
Okay, next slide.
This is my mother's father, my grandfather. He was the top of the biggest temple in Osaka. The temple is well known as Buddhism's first arrival in Japan, with 1400 history.
1400 years,
yeah.
Right.
He was when he was at top, he attended this kind of ceremony very often, and in public, he did chanting and kind of Buddhism Bible that was he read in public.
So this is the oldest Buddhist temple in Japan? 1400 years.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
This is the main hall of the temple. In the temple area, there are many buildings, such as, how can I say, this kind of idol area and worship area, and yes, this one too. So only idols, there are over 1,000 idols.
1,000 idols?
Yes. And this is a summer ceremony. Every year they do. And with this fire, candle fire, we send dead people's spirit to the heaven. It is said.
Is that similar to what so they have these bon dances here in Hawaii at these
Yes.
Buddhist temples.
Yes.
Are you praying for the dead to go to heaven?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is?
Yes.
Wow.
Similar. And this is the main view of the temple.
You have one more picture, yeah. This is the last picture.
Yes,
here.
5-roof tower to reach heaven.
Oh,
It is
that's
said.
what that's for.
Yes, so there are another temple in Japan, famous one. They have this kind of 5-roof tower.
So what is the difference between, say, Hongonji and you have different sects of Buddhism, right?
I don't know exactly, but Buddhism first arrival in Japan, and they are spread it with a little bit change, and now there are many kinds.
Different sects, different types of Buddhism. So we were talking earlier, and you mentioned that in Japan, what is the percentage of actual Christians, not counting the Catholics or the Jehovah Witnesses, and I mean actual Christians? What is the percentage in Japan, would you say?
Including all of them?
Not including them.
I heard from one pastor, 0.05%.
0.05%.
Means 60,000 people in Japan.
Wow.
And we call it remnant Christian.
Remnant Christians.
But this is my personal opinion. I think all of them have the same faith. Because faith in the rapture or faith in the prophecy, as long as I know in my this short Christian life, very few, I think.
So share with us your testimony and how you came to the Lord.
I never expected to be a Christian because my mother grew me up such a pictures religious family. But one of my old friend taught me one day, if we believe Jesus, we are a Christian. I didn't understand what he was saying to me suddenly. He knows my family situation very well, so I don't understand completely. But now I can say it was a seed. After several months, it how can I say, come out?
Germinate.
Yes, germinate. Yeah. Then I was a little bit interested in what Christian was. To go to church every Sunday means Christian? Or to sing worship song means Christian? I'm not sure. So I just wanted to know what it was. And he gave me the Bible, first time in my life. So I thought it was a chance to read, and I started reading. And after several months, I read, finishing all over. I found God created everything. And He was the only one, and Jesus was his begotten Son. Before reading Bible, I thought that the Creator, God, and Jesus were different one. Jesus was like a position of Buddha in Buddhism.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand. But reading Bible, I little bit understood that.
Yeah. So I want to have you take, as I've gotten to know you, and it's been my privilege to do so, I know you have such a heart for the Japanese people. Would you share with us a little bit about what is happening in Japan right now?
Yes, this is my case as well. But our faith founded a long time ago, maybe mainly in Buddhism and Japanese Shinto. Our faith is to care for our God. God means small g, gods. We have to care for God, to protect us, to get forgiveness from his judgment. So in my past, that God is a terrible God. So we have to please him always. It was our faith. But I want to say the Japanese people, God of the Bible is completely different. He is so merciful. If they have a chance to know, they can be like me. So with your ABC salvation, I got saved. And to admit that I'm a sinner set me free.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so relieved. So because if I do something to our God means works. We have to continue working to reach to the better place after our death. It's a Buddhism faith.
Mm-hmm.
But the Christian, Bible God is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, his mercy and his forgiveness and his love. Yeah.
So Buddhism does not teach that you can have salvation. There's no guarantee of eternal life. You're always serving the gods out of fear, right?
Yeah.
All of the gods. Yeah. And there's never that peace or assurance or promise or anything. Mm-hmm.
So of course, prayers teach it, we can get a better place, so-called heaven in Buddhism. But I was wondering, with our work to get heaven means we are the same position of God? It was my question. Mm-hmm. So I asked my uncle a long time ago, is there a God in this temple? He said, no, wow. God is in shrine.
Wow. Yeah.
In Japan, shrine and the temple was same. But 100, maybe more, the government declare it's divided.
Mm-hmm.
So it is called God is in shrine, and the Buddha and the dead people, dead people mm-hmm. in the temple. Mm-hmm. So we have to appreciate both. Mm-hmm. Very busy, very complicated. We have to go to shrine, and we have to go to temple.
Wow.
We need money more. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. Share a little bit about what you share with me with your mom. First, when you came to Christ, how was she? Was she angry with you or confused or?
Yes. At the beginning, I was hiding.
Hiding?
Yeah.
Really?
But I believed Jesus
Yeah.
because there is no atmosphere in my family to say such a thing. But some months later, I decided to tell her I believed Jesus as my Savior. She was freezing.
She was what?
Freezing.
Freezing?
Freezing and
Oh, crazy.
freezing.
Oh, really? Oh, she froze.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Lost in the translation.
Sorry, my pronunciation.
No, I'm sorry. You're fine. It's me. Go ahead.
And looking at me like a stranger. And for a while, she laughed me out.
Locked you out?
Laughed me out.
Oh, laughed.
Like this.
How am I doing, by the way? I'm translating now. She's the one. Go ahead. You're doing fine.
So I was sad because she didn't listen to me. But only one thing I can do was praying before a meal in front of her.
Yeah. Wow.
And I just started praying before meal. She was silent and waiting when I finished praying.
Out of respect?
I'm not sure. Then my next step is she was still worshiping Buddhism altar at home. There were some idols at home in my house, and she was worshiping. So one day I told her, took one of the idols in front of her, made by wood, and I brought one chopstick made by wood, and show her how different.
Wow! And what was her response? What did she?
Mom said, the expert made this kind of idols. They put the spirit in it.
Ah.
So. Okay.
So then what happened?
Okay.
Keep going.
And we had some experience to join the funeral in past. The dead people didn't have spirit anymore because they were already gone. She knew that. How human put spirit in substance? I asked Mom.
Oh, good, yeah.
She didn't answer.
No
she
answer.
couldn't.
Could not answer, right.
Then I started reading Bible at home.
Really? Out loud to her?
With her.
With her. Not to her, with her.
With her.
Wow. Okay, well, this is so good. So then you had the privilege of leading her to Christ before she died. She went home to be with Jesus January of 2020, not 21, right? 2020. You want to share a little bit about this? It's powerful.
Since I started reading Bible at home, after 10 months, I found she had the open-minded to the word. I found that I shared ABC's salvation to her. She said, "It's so simple."
That's what I keep saying.
So
Imagine that.
So I explained, yes, to be Christian is so simple. No complicated works like Buddhism. No need altar. No need to care for the God. So just trust Jesus, I told her. She said, oh. And she stopped worshiping altar anymore.
Wow.
Then I asked her, do you believe, do you like God of the Bible? She said, yes. And she confessed to her mouth, Jesus is our Savior. Then after 2 weeks, she was transported to the hospital by emergency due to stroke.
Stroke, yeah.
It was recovered in 2 weeks, but the doctor said she would never eat from her mouth, and it required us to accept to transfer to the high-level medical care hospital. So I prayed to the Lord and decided to take her to our house, and I cared. And I read the Bible every day and worship song together all day at home. And I was so tired, how can I say, sad, because I'm facing, she was every day weaker. But when she returned to our house, I decided to let her eat from her mouth. She ate rightly without any problem until the last time. She said she was happy, and she was talking about heaven. And she said that Jesus is so worthy trust person. And she said he is so big and tall. And I just remembered Luke 2:52. Jesus was tall and.
Luke 2:52.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Then she went to be with the Lord after 1 month, and it was the answer to my prayer. I asked the Lord, I wanted to spend with her at least 1 month, and just 1 month she went to be with the Lord.
Yeah. Oh, and you asked the Lord to just have that time with her, and He gave that to you. And wow, that is.
He coordinated everything.
Everything. Chicken skin, yeah.
But without your ABC salvation.
Yeah. The simplicity of it, yeah.
My mom never be saved. Me neither.
Yeah. Buddhism is complicated.
Complicated
very
and
complicated.
busy.
A lot of work. That's really interesting you mentioned that. You're very busy. You have to be very busy.
Busy.
Wow. So I wanted to, real quick before we move on, I wanted to ask you, so tell us a little bit about where you live, what it's like where you live, what are the Christians like, how has what's happening with the crisis, we're going to call it a crisis, okay?
Christian crisis?
No, the other crisis, the one that, starts with a C that will get us censored. Well, let's close in prayer if you don't mind. No, it's okay. I think we can get away with that. Whatever. No, so just talk a little bit about. Sorry.
I'm dangerous to say.
No, talk freely. It's okay. I don't care anymore. Do you? So, talk a little bit about where you're at, where you live, what it's like, and just share with us a little bit about your.
Since last March, every day, TV, newspaper report about coronavirus. Only. People scared. Most of churches are closed. For maybe 2 or 3 months, then reopened. They treat carefully and gather people and keep distance, and with masks. Worship. Very difficult.
With they worship with the masks?
And many people cannot trust our government says. And people want this pandemic to be over as soon as possible because we are going to have Olympic. in
The
July.
Olympics. Oh, yeah, let's talk about
July.
that. You remember now the Olympics, Summer Olympics, are in Tokyo, and they start June.
July end.
And they end in July? And this is for sure they're still going to have the Olympics this year in Tokyo.
So. They won't, because they investigate many equipment and for hall and venue.
Mm-hmm.
So government has to have.
They have to do it, yeah.
But the TV and very crazy about how many person got the coronavirus or how many person dead or every day, and people are so tired. But some of them is getting to recognize it's lie.
Oh, wow.
Even non-Christian.
Even though they're not Christians, they're starting to realize something's not right here. What are the churches like there?
Church.
It's okay, talk freely.
Yeah, experienced churches I knew don't teach prophecy, even about the rapture. So at that time, even me, so confused, because there is no hope. Even going to church, we couldn't find any hope, and what we are doing, only worshiping, but the world is falling down.
Did they teach out of the Bible, though?
They are teaching Bible, but no prophecy.
No prophecy. Mm-hmm.
So for me, your teaching, your service was amazing.
Well, it's not just, sadly, it's not just Japan. It's really all over the world, and even in the United States. And that's a whole other topic for another time, but I still am conflicted personally. Just parenthetically, I'll say that the number one comment, email, post that we get from people is, where can you, here's where we live. Do you know of a church in my area that talks about the last days, about Bible prophecy? And I mean, it's just heartbreaking because there isn't. And so, this kind of ties in with what I wanted to ask you about. And I just learned this yesterday. So JB is part of our ministry. We have an international ministry translation team. And what they do is they take the updates primarily, but also the teachings too, right? And they translate them into, and one of the languages is Japanese. Share just a little bit, and then I want to mention this to you, but share just a little bit about your translation team there in Japan. Okay. Not just in Japan, actually. Yeah, you have some here, right? Yeah. So go ahead and share about that.
Japanese team translate your prophecy update and the second service Bible study. Mm-hmm. We translate all you say into Japanese and burn on your video. Yeah. To put the Japanese subtitle.
The subtitles. But tell them what you do, because you do a voiceover. Yeah. No, what? No, this is amazing. So she takes and does a voiceover of my video. She has treasures in heaven right there, I'm telling you. But she, in Japanese, well, you tell them.
Yes, the reason I thought I should do voiceover on you, sorry, your teaching was getting to be longer. And all the people and deaf people cannot watch you and even Japanese subtitle for a long time.
Yeah.
So I decided, oh, voiceover is better,
Yeah.
even though a busy person can listen to.
Yeah. They don't have to look at the subtitles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why she has treasures in heaven. I want you to know.
And thankfully, I'm very good at yelling.
Wait, I want to make sure you heard that. You heard what she just said? She's very good at yelling. I actually watched one of hers. It was so good. It's actually better than me. So you know what I get? Because I don't get, I'm very monotone, right? And so when I get a little bit excited, she gets excited too. And it's kind of like, wow, that was better than me. I love you so much.
I love you too.
So amazing. Anyway, share a little bit about so you have how many people on the Japanese translating team?
Translating now 6.
You have 6 people translating?
3 men and 3 girls,
Yeah.
Women.
Women.
One of them, we have bilingual Japanese. By chance, we met her. She goes to CCK.
Yeah. They say it's a small world. It's a small island, but it's really a small world.
Very stunned.
Yeah, and the Lord just brought them together as only He can. So there's 6, including you. Now, you started a Japanese YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
And and so you're putting the Japanese videos onto the Japanese YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention this. Lane is here. I tried to get him up here tonight, but he oversees the translation ministry, and he just let me know, and this is amazing, and actually Lane is amazing. I don't want to steal your treasures in heaven, brother, but just amazing. So just yesterday, we launched a new app. Now, you know that there's the app for the J.D.Farag app that has all of the prophecy updates, all of the teachings, the ABCs of salvation. So Lane has been working on this and just kind of surprised me tonight. I had to download it. It's the international app. It's separate from the regular app. Hang on. And it is, right now we have 5 languages, and they are Dutch, German, Japanese, Portuguese, Spanish, and we're working on 2 more languages, French and Romanian, and they're going to be added. And then, of course, this is what is so amazing, and we saw this with JB. So we'll get a post or an email from somebody saying, oh, please, we need to have these updates translated into our native language. And so I think one of them was the Dutch, right? If I'm not mistaken, right, Lane? So I just forward them all to Lane. Poor guy. There's another guy that's got treasures in heaven. We get like over 1,000 emails every day. And I just, whenever they're about foreign languages or IT or app or whatever, I just, send them to Lane. And Grace, his wife, too, now. So we get this email, and it was for an online member requesting that we get them the translation in Dutch, right? So I sent it to Lane. It wasn't that much longer after that, we get another online member that says, hey, I know Dutch, and I would like to translate your updates. Things that make you go, only the Lord could do that. So anyway, back to Japan. share with us a little bit about what God is doing there in Japan. And I know, as we've talked about, that the fields are ripe, the harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few, and there's so many people, especially now with what's happening. And so just tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in Japan.
Yes, in Japan, maybe all over the world, to preaching gospel is not easy, but thankfully, our subscriber to the channel is every day increasing.
Increasing, yeah.
And many people are watching your teaching with Japanese subtitle, including voiceover.
Yeah, we talked about that voiceover.
So they gave us very good comments, and the listeners, very good listeners. And with ABC's Salvation Creative Way, Japanese team had a pioneer named Taichi. He put the ABC's Salvation on the bathroom pocket tissue.
And, oh yeah, I remember that. I shared that. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
every weekend he provides the people at the station. And now we have 7 antennas.
Say that again. 7
antennas. 7. Yes, antenna.
Antennas?
7 points in Japan. Pocket tissue
where they're giving out these. She mentioned antennas, and I'm having a flashback right now, by the way. Hey, you know what? This is probably just a second, JB. This is not your problem. This is my problem, and I want to make it yours now. It's actually a praise report, an absolute miracle. As of where's Mike? It was as of Tuesday, right? Yeah. Check this out. Did you guys notice that? And we're going to make a formal announcement, by the way, online, probably like right now. But the antenna, the cell antennas that we've been asking for prayer to have them removed from our building have been removed from our building. I'm pretty sure there were 7 of them. I thought that's what you were referring to. Now, here's the thing. We need to keep praying. This is an absolute miracle because actually they're on a temporary, they're still on the property, but off the building so that now our roof can get repaired, which again is an absolute miracle. This is not hyperbole. Now, they are working on the new permanent site. Once they get it activated, then it's completely gone, but they are no longer on top of the building. And that's the answer to prayer and a miracle. So, back to your antennas now in Japan. So 7 locations.
7 people.
Oh, 7 people. Attendance.
Thank you.
Stop using such big words with me, okay? Let's keep it simple. Like the ABCs, simple. So attendance, you have 7 people that are now distributing. I don't know if you guys remember, I shared pictures of these boxes, cartons actually.
Yes.
And they have their tissue paper. Mm-hmm. And they have the ABCs of salvation on them.
Yes.
Wow. Thousands of them.
Like your billboard.
The billboard. Yeah.
Many people join to provide the billboard over the U.S. It's the same situation. Small version in Japan.
In Japan. Wow. That is just amazing.
Yeah.
So we have no idea.
No idea.
And we won't. And I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, and oh man, time's going to get away from us. Don't look at your watches. I mentioned this, might have been just last week, that, oftentimes, I think it was Oswald Chambers who said that oftentimes God will withhold from you how much He's using you to protect you so you don't think it's you. right? Because here's what happens, and I can testify to it, and I have the scars to prove it. God starts moving, God starts blessing, God starts using you in mighty ways, and you just have this privilege of privileges to lead somebody to Christ, and God just starts really blessing your efforts as you share the gospel, and then the enemy is right there, like, wow, you're pretty good. You're starting to win a lot of people to Christ. And the flesh loves it. I think about what the Apostle Paul said. He said, I know that in me, it's almost, depending on the translation you're reading from, it almost sounds, noble. Like, I know that in me there dwelleth no good thing that is in my flesh. One paraphrase, not a translation, renders it this way. I know that in my flesh I am rotten through and through. That's better. In other words, I know that my flesh is very capable of starting to take the credit, touch the glory for what God is doing in my life. And it's really a protection by the merciful and gracious hand of God to protect us from what He knows we're capable of doing. We start thinking that we have something to do with it. So I am really of the belief that when we get to heaven, there's going to be all of these people that this side of heaven we don't know about that came to Christ, and when we get there, those are going to be treasures and crowns that await us, unbeknownst to us, this side of glory. And I can't wait to see. I'm waiting to meet the person that's going to come up to you and go, hey, you're the one that did the voiceover. That was such a great voiceover. Yeah. But you don't know yet. You have to wait. And then when we get to heaven, you'll know. Oh, JB, it's such a blessing to have you here and for you to share with us what God's done in your life. Do you want to just share as the Lord leads, just anything else that maybe is on your heart? While we have you here, we want to take total advantage of you while we have you here. So just share freely. Yeah.
I was saved through your online. 2017 November.
And how did you hear about the prophecy update? Did somebody send you a link, or you were just searching online?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
And up pops this ugly mug of this Arab guy in Hawaii yelling.
Yes. First time
screaming.
I met you through online, I feel scared.
Well, actually, that's a thing. I'd rather scare him into heaven than flatter him into hell. It worked, I guess. I don't know.
So I tried to
turn the volume down. Yeah.
Release the registered channel, but I couldn't.
Wow, really?
This is honest.
That was the Holy Spirit really had.
Yes.
You were sharing, I don't know if it was on Sunday or if you shared it with me, but you were talking about how that you were watching YouTube videos, but you still couldn't quite, it was still kind of complicated. And you could not really understand. Were they sharing the gospel, though, on these videos? Or?
Yes, some of them, but one of them said to be saved, we need baptizing, for example.
Oh, baptismal regeneration. Hang on to that for a second.
Saved, and we need work or something.
Yeah, something you have to do to be saved. Yeah.
So I found a different teaching way or contents, so I complicated.
Yeah. Did they yell too, or just me?
Very gentleman.
Yeah, the strong, silent type. Whatever. Anyway, so then you come across, and that was the Lord, obviously, and then I did the ABCs of salvation, and you're like, wow, this is really simple.
So I thought it's enough to close to the Lord. ABC salvation is enough.
Is enough, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just simple. You don't have to do anything.
So as I said, to admit I'm sinner, set me free. I feel so relieved because I can be in God. And if we understand God is merciful, kind, being in Him is more than relief.
Yeah. So just real quick, if you don't mind, it's not just Japan. Were these U.S. teachers, or were these Japanese videos?
Mixed.
So there are YouTube videos from Japanese pastors online too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And from USA.
And from the U.S.
From Europe.
And Europe.
Because I registered seven or eight channels.
7 or 8 channels? Yeah. Wow. Okay, so this is so common, by the way, this notion that there's something you have to do to be saved. And one of the most, for lack of a better word, insidious ones is what is known as baptismal regeneration, which is basically that you have to be water baptized to be saved. And that's what JB is talking about, and that is not uncommon. Sadly, it is very common. And it kind of carries with it this idea of, it is a works salvation, and it's got other layers to it. I mean, it's not necessarily just water baptism, but I think we talked about this on Sunday about, that was a interview in Italy about this partial rapture theory, where only those who are really walking close with the Lord, on fire for the Lord, they're going to be raptured. But the lukewarm, backslidden Christians, they're not going to be raptured. That's actually the name of it. It is called a partial rapture theory. And you might be shocked to know, if there ever is a pastor teaching on the rapture, that they're actually teaching a partial rapture theory. Now, what's the problem with that? Well, I think you guys know what the problem with that is, because you take now salvation out of the arena of grace and you put it back into the arena of works. Because what you're saying now is that I've got to earn the right to be raptured. That's works. That means there's something I have to do. It is predicated now upon how close I am to the Lord, how on fire I am for the Lord. That is not grace. And think about this. Ephesians 2:8-9, we know it well, right? You're saved by grace through faith. It is not of works. It is the gift of God, and here's why. So nobody can boast. Now, can you imagine, just hypothetically, let's just think this through. Let's just say the partial rapture theory was true. It's not, but let's just say it is, just for purpose of discussion. And we get raptured because we're on fire for... I don't know about you. Well, I do know about you, because you're just as much of a sinner as I am. I'm in heaven, and partial rapture, and brother so-and-so didn't, he got left behind, but I got taken. I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to boast about it if I'm the one that got raptured, because I've earned the right to, because I was on fire for the Lord, walking close to the Lord. I tell you, one of Satan's and I didn't mean to go off on this. I hope you don't mind. Just one last thing. Hey, by the way, Sunday, Lord willing, we're going to finish Philemon. I think it's, I forget what verse it is, but you know what Paul says to Philemon? So he goes through this whole thing about Onesimus, and what a fascinating, so much in just a short letter. So when he gets kind of done with this whole thing about, hey, it's your decision to restore him, and I know you will, and I know you're even going to go above and beyond that. And then he goes, I love this, and I'm going to talk about this on Sunday. He says, oh, one more thing. That's where I got it from. It's biblical, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. One more thing, one last thing. He says, prepare a place because I want to come stay with you. And that's in the Bible. So there. So one last thing, one more thing. You can take anything and put it on everything that suggests that there's something you have to do in addition to what Jesus did, whether it's baptism or you fill in the blanks. And it is so insidious and is one of Satan's most successful strategies. And here's the other thing, like JB's been talking about, he is so good at complicating the simplicity of the gospel, because he knows that if he can complicate it, then he can keep people from coming to Jesus. And he knows that. He's he's a very intelligent being. He's not all-knowing, but he's very intelligent. I was thinking about this today, and this might be a good way to end, but I was thinking about this today. The two things that Satan is seemingly attacking the most in recent days is the simplicity of the gospel and the pre-tribulation rapture. And this, I did a thing for this online member in Italy, and one of the questions was on why is the doctrine of the pre-tribulation rapture being attacked, and it's getting vicious, and it's getting worse, it seems, right? And the answer is this. So, we talked about this illustration. The counterfeit, it authenticates the genuine. So you don't see this attack on partial rapture theory, pre-wrath rapture, mid-trib rapture, post-trib rapture, but you always see the attack on the pre-trib rapture. And the reason you do is because that's the genuine, and all the others are false. Was that me? I ate before we came, so that I'm sorry about that. That mean June was so good. Oh my goodness. Did you just cut my mic, Mike? Okay. I wouldn't blame you if you did. I didn't mean to go off on this, but what JB is sharing is, in one sense, it's almost like we need more evidence or assurance that we're that close to the rapture, because this is exactly what we were told would happen, at the time of the end. And so, anyway, but God, right? He got you, and he brought you to himself. And one last thing. This is the last thing, according to the Apostle Paul to Philemon. You made a comment. You shared a little bit about how that when you were approached by this friend who said to you, I think it was something to the effect of, if you believe Jesus, you're a Christian, and you were appalled. You were kind of almost offended, like, do you know who you're talking to here? Because of my family? Don't you know who I am? You're talking to the poster child for Buddhism, basically, right? Can you just share a little bit about how it all began, because that was the seed that was planted, and then it began to germinate and sprout, and then you were born again thereafter. But can you just share lastly about, this will be her last thing, about how, it was so surprising to you because you were so, steeped in Buddhism because of your upbringing. And for someone to just, and I'm going somewhere with this, for someone to tell you about Jesus was just, that was amazing. Yeah, sure, just a little bit about that.
I was stunned because we knew each other over 30 years now.
Yeah.
He is one of my old friends, and he knows my family situation and parents very well. But suddenly he said, if we believe Jesus, we are Christian. I was just surprised. And several months later, I asked him the reason he told me such a thing. He said he don't remember.
He doesn't remember saying it? Wow.
So I thought that I was crazy.
I get that a lot, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. He doesn't even remember saying
He doesn't remember.
That was the Holy
Still
Spirit.
now he doesn't remember.
He still doesn't. Here's where I was going with this, and then we'll close with this, okay? Never, ever, ever dismiss, as crazy as it might seem, an opportunity that the Lord is presenting to you. Think of it like this. If you don't, deliverance will come from another, like Mordecai said to Esther. God will find somebody else. So God will prompt you, and of course the enemy's going to be right there going, don't tell him that. Oh man, that's going to be awkward. Oh, they're going to be stuck. First of all, this is a friend of 30 years, a poster child for Buddhism, and you're going to say that. Apparently he doesn't remember, But I'm sure the enemy was right there saying, don't even bother. You never know. You never know. That's where it started. That's where it started. So never dismiss that prompting. As simple as it can be. Okay, this will be the last thing. So, my wife's birthday is usually a couple days before Mother's Day. So I'm very good friends with our local florist. I have, first name basis, permanent reservations whenever I go in. And he always knows that, this time of year, what I want. And, of course, everything's kind of crazy right now. So he said, that's okay for you, J.D. I'm gonna take care of you. So I go in. I said, listen, I'll come in on Saturday, the day before. He said, thank you so much. I wish all my customers were like you because, it's just a madhouse, right? So I go in and I looked at the owner of the florist shop, and he just looked bust up, tired, exhausted, stressed, pressure. He's got all these orders, doesn't know if he can fill them. And I just said, hey, Bob, I'm going to pray for you. He almost broke down and cried. He knows, where I stand. I don't push it on him. But I said, I'm just going to pray for you. And then he had all of his employees, of course, during Mother's Day. He brings all the other employees in. They're all just looking at me deer in the headlights like, thank you. You never know. You never know. Just one, he only said 5 words to you. If you believe Jesus, you're a Christian. That's 5, 6, 7 antennas right there. That's okay, that's enough. I'm having too much fun. It's late when you... Anyway, it's a gift. Anything else you want to share? One last thing?
I was so lucky to come across such a good teacher who teach the truth exactly mentioned in the Bible, and the truth for the end in the Bible prophecy. I thank God to let me come across this CCK. Thank you so much.
Thank you, J.D. God bless you. We'll have the worship team come up. We'll close in prayer. Why don't you go ahead and stand? Thank you so much for coming tonight. And so good. Can you believe how time just, thank you. Time just flies, you know. No time in heaven. You know, it's not just eternity, it's the absence of time, right? There's no time. Father in heaven, thank you so much for my sister JB and just bringing her here and having her share, and Lord, for her salvation, for her mom, and for all of those that she is reaching. Lord, thank you so much for her life, for her witness, and for her ministry. Lord, we ask your blessing on her moving forward.